Hello, it's Dr. Felix Brizuela. Uh, Last couple or 3 months or so, I'm not keeping track. I've been talking about the atrocities of our healthcare system and the fact that our DEA and quite frankly DOJ have turned into a criminal enterprise. How they target doctors, uh, ordered by the insurance industry and through the HFPP, and how they use the same tactics that they use on drug cartels, drug dealers, harassment, illegal search and seizure. Uh, I've been focusing primarily on the collateral damage to the public, which is appropriate because the collateral damage on the public, the 600% increase in suicide, the shortening of our lifespan to incredibly low levels in the last 5 years, uh, are all the result of the illegal DA actions. And despite that, they won't stop. We talked about how the DA, we now know, elicits prostitutes from drug dealers, and that explains why they're not doing anything about the fentanyl crisis, but really haven't talked about specifically what to do with doctors. Two doctors, in order to get them out of the way to hurt you. I can't talk for other doctors. Let me tell you my story. 2015, my office was raided by the Drug Enforcement Agency. They said that they had proof that I was illegally prescribing opiates. Now, I'm a neurologist. I see some bad things: multiple sclerosis, complex regional pain syndrome, severe neuropathies, there headaches. There's a type of headache called sunk syndrome, which has a high suicide rate. Uh, I'm lucky if I prescribe 15 a month, 15 opiates a month, because what I do is I try to address the cause. And most neurological conditions like myasthenia gravis and multiple sclerosis and neuropathies have an autoimmune etiology. So I usually get lucky. I treat the etiology, I take care of the pain, but not always. So I'm lucky if I prescribe 15 a month. So when they raided my office, I thought they mistook me for somebody else, and they must have confiscated about 500 charts. Then they told me that as a result of my prescribing, 25 patients had died. They gave me the discs, and I ran home, looked at them, and they lied. The patients were on opiates, and I'm like, they got to be mistaking me for somebody else. So I didn't hire an attorney. They come back a year later with the FBI, and this time they raided my home as well. My son was on his way to school. They stopped him. They took his iPad and never gave it back. Uh, they searched everything. They searched my wife's underwear drawers. I mean, went crazy. And of course, they found nothing. Uh, I still wasn't worried because I'm like, what are they talking about? I don't do this shit. And then they started calling the hospitals. They called one hospital in Connellsville, hospital where I had privileges, and they told the CEO, Nancy Cunningham, that I was prescribing intravenous gamma globin for profit in the office illegally, which was a lie. I wasn't doing. I'm like, what are they talking about? She was intimidated. So what did she do? She got rid of my privileges. Now it's on my record, okay? And still, I figured, what are they talking about? I didn't do these things. But next thing you know, 2019, I'm indicted. Indicted? I didn't even know what that meant. The grand jury indicted me because they claimed that I had patients who were on opiates for pain, and the West Virginia grand jury claimed that I should have kicked those patients out of the practice. What? So I still thought it was a joke, but then I go to trial. And they were harassing patients. They were offering patients money, $18,000 or something, to testify against me. Say what you may about West Virginians, they have values. So most of them didn't do it. There was one patient, she didn't want to testify against me. Her mother didn't like me because I wouldn't talk to her mother. Why wouldn't I talk to her patient's mother? The patient told me my mother wants to kill me. She doesn't believe me, doesn't believe I'm sick. So much for HIPAA laws. There's no such thing. So of course they brought in the mother to testify, not the patient. They said the patient had a job interview, which is a bunch of bullshit. The patient can't work. She was very sick. She had a condition known as cervical dystonia. Her story was she fell off a horse, injured her neck. They call it wry neck down south, and she had this really, really severe neck injury, cervical dystonia. is the most painful cause of neck pain in the entire world. It's treated with Botox, but they denied her Botox or put her on oxycodone twice a day. The prosecutor then told the jury that she was not an epileptic, but she was passing out because of she was on oxycodone, 10 milligrams twice a day, which is nothing. My attorney, and I know I've taken care of him here, and on TikTok, he would not present the EEG showing that she wasn't epileptic. Would not show the previous record showing that she had multiple epileptic seizures, uh, and all the jury heard was doctor prescribing opiates for no reason. So I got sentenced to 48 months in prison. I spent 7 months in prison, and I spent 7 months in prison. I won my appeal. I was very fortunate. I get out, and when you win your appeal, it's not like on TV where you go to Applebee's and celebrate. They remand it for a new trial. I wasn't worried, but they assigned me a public defender, and the asshole, Douglas Chagru, says, you have a plea deal, they're going to win no matter what. Due to I accepted the plea deal because I wanted to get home and be with my autistic son. Later on, a friend of mine, and a friend of mine with very strong political connections calls him, and he admitted under signed affidavit that he advised me without reviewing the records. So right now, I'm looking to have my record expunged by the Fourth Circuit. I'm waiting for a hearing, but this personifies how aggressive they are. They're going to get you for something, and what I don't know, why me? 35% of doctors targeted are of color. I mean, some say you look Caucasian. I'm Hispanic, okay? While only 11% of the doctors in this country are of color, so did that have something to do with it? It's obvious that they go after doctors who are taking care of the Medicare, Medicaid patients who are marginalized because they're not contributing to the tax base. But whatever, I mean, I have a clean record, the most boring record imaginable. Up to the time I was convicted, I never had a criminal record. The question is, why are they targeting certain doctors? That we also know they go after doctors that are in private practice that are competing and winning against big hospital systems. So who knows, okay? But bottom line is they'll do anything. They're going to get the doctor. They're going to lie. They're going to cheat. Why? That's what we don't know. I've heard from a reliable source that the DA has a lot of skeletons in her closet, and they're trying to make up for it by going after doctors. We're low-lying fruit, but as you can see from the fentanyl crisis, they're not going after the drug dealers, and wonder why. I mean, they're eliciting prostitutes, they're getting paid off. There's a DA agent down in South Florida. There's a drug dealer whom I know, and he pays off the DA agent $800,000 a year. So that's the story. I just wanted to give you a doctor's perspective, but again, you look at the harm it's doing to the public, it's just unimaginable. And what really has got me, by now they should have stopped and said, you know what, the jig is up. They're not quitting. They don't care about the effect on the patient. So you people have the right to know this, and the media won't talk about this. CNN, Fox, you know what, we need new news media. They deflect right now, they're deflecting with this Israel thing. Not that I don't feel for the people in Israel. They will not talk about this. They will not talk about these problems. Okay, so that is the story. So do we need brand new leadership. We need a one-payer system, a one-payer universal system. We have to go back to, we have to transition into a healthcare system that's not for profit. That's the only way to stop all this. But anyway, just wanted to give you a doctor's perspective. But this is how aggressive, how they are. They're allowed to lie. They're allowed to cheat. Why? Ask your politicians. Have a great day.